Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Kathy Fair, and thanks for joining me this beautiful Thursday evening. I am super excited and pleased to introduce you to the Moreland family. They're a family I've known for quite some time. Actually, I guess I was their family doctor for over 20 years. 25 years. I'm not currently, and they've given me full permission so there's no HIPAA violation. And the reason that I'm doing this is because it occurred to me that autism didn't end with the pandemic. And autism, I think, is a diagnosis, shall we say, a label that means lots of different things. And this wonderful family has written a book called Autism, A Family Lives Beyond the Label, that we're going to be talking about. So let's go ahead and introduce you. So first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Lori Moreland. And Lori is... Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
By the way, all three of them are in the same household, so we might be getting a little bit of feedback, but I think it's going to work out okay. So Lori actually saved me last week. She was the person that let me know that I was muted, and I had talked for about 5 minutes and didn't know I was on mute. So thank you, Lori. And that's actually what got me thinking about talking with you folks about this. So Lori's the beautiful mother of these beautiful girls. So Brittany, we're going to introduce her next. Hi, Brittany.
Hello.
So Brittany is the older sister, shall we say. She was 3 years old when Lindsey was born. And we'll be introducing Lindsey next. Hi, Lindsey.
Hi.
I think what we'll have to have you guys do is we'll alternate. Yeah, there you go. Super. Lindsey, it's great to have you on.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes. So I know that sometimes when we talk about things, and I know even as I'm going to mute you, Lori, too, just to see if that helps. 'Cause I'm getting a little bit of feedback there. I don't know if you can mute yourself, Lori, while I talk to Lindsey for a moment. So Lindsey, we're going to be talking a little bit about, when your autism was diagnosed and such. And I know it might feel a little awkward to have us talking about you. And I know I've talked with your mom before that, I think when the book first came out. And so if at any point anything feels a little awkward, just wave or let us know, because, I know that that I think it was a little bit hard for you guys to kind of go back when you wrote the book and look at, I think you even were looking at videotapes and things and really remembering some of those times. So I'm just aware of that. We want to be sensitive to that. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Absolutely.
You with me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, so Lori, tell us a little bit about what you'd like folks to know. Oh, this time you're muted. There we go.
Are we good?
You're good.
Got me? Okay, perfect. So I just want to say thank you to Kathy for having our family do this tonight. Truly, she has been with us for this whole journey. And yes, she was even our family doctor when I was pregnant with Brittany. So pretty exciting for us to be here tonight. So thank you. I guess, talking about the book earlier with Kathy and why we did this is I really wanted to make sure that families never gave up. We were really given a very grim outcome, you might say. Therapists would talk to us about how Lindsey will probably live in an institution, of course, never drive a car, never go to college, never have a job. And Lindsey has proven everybody wrong, and she has done all that. So we're just super proud of her.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. So Brittany, as the older sister, what would you like to share for the first part of this conversation?
First off, Kathy, I want to just say thank you so much for having us tonight. It means a lot, and that we're able to spread the message of hope and to never give up. I also want to leave a message that the label doesn't define you. It's just another tool that helps you. And that I'm just super proud of my sister. And if it, wasn't for our labels, we wouldn't have gotten the help we needed and become the people we are today.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. So Lindsey, how old are you now?
26.
Oh, I'm going to have you say that again now that they're muted. So you're 26, right? Yes.
Correct.
And you are a young lady with a lot of talents. So, do you want to tell the folks some of the things you that you're up to these days?
Yes, I just want to say first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and my family to this Facebook Live interview. It's truly an amazing journey. I just want to share what was like being in school, finding a job, and my talents, and what my recent things I did so far.
Great. I know one of your talents is that you speak Spanish.
See,
And that's a talent that I wish that I had, because I've had that. I've been able to travel to Puerto Rico and work with folks there, and my Spanish is so limited. Um, so that's one thing I'm just really, I think it's amazing, really amazing.
yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So, Lori, tell us a little bit, if you will, about what it was like. Even some of the early years in terms of being having Lindsey get the diagnosis and get the label. And I know from my work with many things, but especially autism, that the diagnosis is what gets you services. And so sometimes that label can be not really define you, but it does get you services, so to speak. So tell, if there's folks that are struggling with that, what can you tell them?
So I think to start out, I think for me, it's like knowing I wasn't able to bond with Lindsey. She never slept well. She had a few words, lost her speech, and was having really severe tantrums, and we didn't know why. So you start out with that. And that lasted for several months. And we just saw her regress in front of our eyes, like daily. We went through the time where, she had that speech and lost it. Well, then she wouldn't give us any eye contact. We went through a time where we thought that she could not hear us. She was not responding to her name. So the process was really, really long. And we had a lot of doctoring during the whole process. She, at 18 months after multiple doctor appointments, that's when her first diagnosis came in. But the thing that happens during this whole process is a parent like myself and Todd, we were in denial. It was very depressing. Lindsey was crying and screaming, throwing tantrums. Sometimes it would be all day long. She was banging her head on a brick wall. So she had the self-injury. And back in 1996, when Lindsey did get diagnosed, there was such little information about autism. And so when I was reading about autism, when we first started hearing the word autism when she was 15 months old, and again, very little understanding, and everything I read about it was so depressing. There was nothing good about it. I read things like "you're a bad mom," just crazy things that I was reading. And so I think it's a process to get that diagnosis. And doctors, of course, did not want to say the word because it's a very severe diagnosis. And after the first diagnosis came in at 18 months, and that actually was possible pervasive developmental disorder. And at the time, I didn't know that that was a form of autism. And then we were looking for the second diagnosis and final, and that was when Lindsey was at 28 months old. And again, a long process between even those two diagnoses. And that is when Lyle Chastain came into our home. And so she was 28 months old. Lyle came in from Fraser in Minnesota. And she said to me, "There are no ands, ifs, or buts. Lindsey has autism." And then you start this whole grieving process, because it was like I wanted to know what was wrong. I now knew what was wrong, but we didn't want to accept it. And so that made it really hard. Fraser was incredible. I think about how, I was the type of mom, I guess, that I was always searching for that help and reaching out to people. Mm-hmm. And so even though Lyle was practicing in Minnesota and we were living in Wisconsin, she set us up for getting the help we needed in Wisconsin. And that made just a huge difference.
Great. What helped you the most as you had that diagnosis? And you mentioned the grieving and such. What helped you the most? do you think?
I think definitely clearly all the therapy and family. We had huge support, family, friends. Um, yeah, I think therapists, doctors, everybody. I mean, I do have to mention, and I was talking to Kathy about this last week, a memory of taking Lindsey into the clinic for shots. And we literally had 8 nurses, including myself, holding her down, and Kathy giving her shots.
Oh.
And, to think about that was like they finished their day with Lindsey. We scheduled her for the last part of the day so everybody could come in and help. But, that was really, really hard as a mom to do that. But yet, that's what we had to do so she wouldn't hurt herself.
Yeah.
So everybody played a huge role in this.
And I have to apologize now. I mean, now I work a day a week at Minneapolis Children's, and I have for the last 15 years. And one of our mottos there is no needless pain. And we go through what we can. If we do have to give a shot, for people to use numbing cream and such. And we were so cruel to you, Lindsey. I'm so sorry. Really. And I mean, I do remember that. I do remember that actually, because I remember how difficult it had to seem for Lindsey for you to be in your body. And that's why this has been such an amazing journey, watching what you do. And so for you, Brittany, you were the older sister. And I know that can be a challenge in itself. And I know that when we talked earlier, you talked about, you wouldn't change things because you have an amazing bond. But what do you remember? You alluded to, but you have some challenges of your own.
Yep. So my first memory of autism was when I was 3 or 5 years old, and we were opening up presents Christmas Eve. And I don't think Lindsey liked the presents she got. She started to head to the brick wall and started banging her head on the wall. And that was actually my first memory from my childhood. And a lot of times when I was young, I would hear the word autism, everyone was saying it, but no one really truly sat down to tell me what it meant. I know that it meant that my sister had troubles, that, she could go from laughing to screaming so much that she passed out, wanting to be with my sister when she couldn't look me in the eye. But then as I grew older, so did my understanding of autism. So it was helping her communicate with others, being okay with change, helping with social stories, and knowing too, like, as a sibling's point of view, I always wanted to help Lindsey. It wasn't something that I needed to do. It was always something I wanted to do. And I feel that sometimes the siblings' help goes unnoticed. And so that's one thing that I'd always just say, be aware of, that the siblings do want to help, and they do want to make their sibling have a happy, healthy lifestyle. And they want to be a part of that journey with everyone.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever feel, not to put the family on the spot, but did you ever, but you did write a book about it. So did you ever feel like not noticed or set aside?
Sometimes I did. For Lindsey, I always thought she was lucky to have therapy. So I'd be going to school learning math problems, and then I would see Lindsey swimming, doing all the therapy, and I'd be like, man, I wish I had autism. But I didn't understand at that time that it was actually not fun for her. It was something that she had to work on herself. So that was like a big understanding. And I don't think I always felt bad. It was just always wanting to be there for Lindsey, and that was my main focus.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was happy, then I was happy.
Yeah, great. And I know in the book that it is mentioned, let's see, there's something you mentioned, Lori. I think you basically said that you didn't really want to have this story be just, not trying to make Lindsey's story more important than Brittany's. But with the increasing number of children being diagnosed with autism every year, it seemed important to publish the book. So I appreciated that as well.
Yep. I do have to say with that now, it's incredible about just a few years difference here in the awareness of mental illness now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thrilled that more people are recognizing mental illness.
This is true. Mental illness and autism. I mean, I know now we have, mandatory checklist of things for children as they're, little children, so that we make sure that people really are speaking when they're supposed to be and socializing when they're supposed to be. And we have a long ways to go for sure.
Yeah.
So Lindsey, tell us a little bit. I'm going to actually have you kind of walk through a little bit some of the years. So can you think about what were some of the challenges for you? Let's just start in elementary school.
Yes, absolutely. So I
Well,
have
just
to
pause
say,
a minute. We're going to mute a little bit. Let's see, Laura, can you? I gotcha. Okay, go ahead. Try it again, and I'll mute if I have to.
okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I thought maybe challenges would be a great start to start this interview and then focus later on the positive.
I love that.
Yeah, anyway, I have to say the most challenging time of my autism would have to be the school years. So, but elementary, I would have to say it wasn't too bad because I did have a couple friends at that time, and I went to this one special ed room where I get to have lunch by myself or with partners, and I get to be there. Like if I have overstimulation or oversensitive, like noise, overcrowds, and if I don't want to go outside, I would rather be inside. And it's like the circle of friends is what I had in a way. But then when it came to middle and high school, things have changed. The friends I used to have kind of didn't speak to me or say hi to me or anything. I just felt ignored, and then I've been bullied, and so I kind of felt betrayed at that time and unaccepted and underappreciated. And I just felt like I didn't belong to that school. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. So I kind of felt fed up, and then I had a right to share on Facebook of how I exactly felt, like why those school years were not what I expected. And of course, many people have forgave me. Sorry, I meant to say they have apologized to me, and I thought first it would take a while for me to forgive them, but I'm like, wow, that's unexpected. So I'm like, I forgave them right away.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank
That's
you.
really beautiful. And I really like that you didn't want to just focus on the challenges. You want to focus on other things. I mean, that just really speaks so much to who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So
You talked a little bit about uh, being able to like go into the other classroom or the other room, like if you were overstimulated and if you were too noisy and such. So we certainly know that for many people with autism, that is a major challenge, having that sensory processing and really having senses that are like hyper acute, right? So talk about that a little bit, and that might lead you. Then I think we could talk about your latest book.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the overstimulation is a huge part of the autism challenge. Like over crowded people, noise. It's like every day for me. Like throughout my entire life. Like when I go to school, it's always been overstimulating. But I'm trying to focus on the good stuff, like concentrating on my homework and stuff, making teachers proud and that stuff. And same with college, it's overstimulating, yet I did my best by just focusing on my studies. But I was mostly introvert at that time, so I don't know if that was maybe why I was overstimulated. I just wanted to stay home most of the time. But then I at the time I was like socializing was really difficult for me at the same time. That's also overstimulating. And same with my job. Every time I work, it's always overstimulating, but I've always done the best I could.
Great. So some of that is not wanting to get your hair cut, for example. So tell us about your children's book.
Yeah, so my aunt and I wrote a book called Little Lindsey's Haircut. It's a children's book that I would hopefully help educators, help
hairdressers help everyone understand that getting haircuts, brushing hair, everything is huge sensitive issues for people of autism.
And living in a family of hairstylists, your mom cuts hair, your sister cuts hair, and here it is hard for you to have your hair cut, right? So who would have guessed? Do you want to, so actually say your aunt's name. Let's bring her in.
Yeah. Her name
So
is Linda Wagner.
great. So congratulations to you and Linda Wagner. Do you want to read a little bit from your children's book?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Little Lindsey had a loving family. She had a mom, a dad, a sister named Brittany, and a dog named Buddy. She also had beautiful brown hair. Little Lindsey was 3 years old when her hair started growing and growing.
And there's the picture.
It's time for a haircut, her mom said. Little Lindsey's mom thought this would be easy because she happened to be a hairdresser and had a hair salon in the basement of their home. No, screamed little Lindsey. It hurt me. Your hair is in your eyes, her mom explained lovingly. No, screamed little Lindsey. Again, she yelled. It hurt me.
It's great. Fast forward a few pages and show it like when the hair is super long.
I'll get to the one that I look like Rapunzel.
Okay, great.
And little Lindsey's hair kept on growing.
There you go.
Okay, this is kind of goofy, but there we go.
I love it. That's great. That's wonderful. Did you eventually get her? She must have got your haircut because your hair isn't like Rapunzel anymore.
No, but I will get to that. When little Lindsey was all done, she looked beautiful. She was happy and proud of herself.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Great. Awesome. I'm going to mute you for a minute because I think your mom wants to join in.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you guys, I think it'd be fun if Lindsey read the first page in Spanish.
Yeah, you want to do that, Lindsey?
I'll mute.
Hold on. Okay, great.
Okay. El coto de pelo para la pequeña Lindsey, which is the title in español.
Mm-hmm.
La pequeña Lindsey tenía una familia amable. Tiene una mamá, un papá y hermana que se llama Brittany y un perro que se llama Buddy. También tiene un cabello marrón bonito. La pequeña Lindsey tenía 3 años cuando su pelo empezó a crecer y crecer.
Well, I knew the mama and the papa. And the Una. All right, great. So Brittany, let's hear from you. What would you like to add to the conversation? And I'm happy to hear about things that have been challenging for you too, because I know that you've got some personal challenges or have had in the past. So, but just what would you like to bring in?
Just the kind of awareness of mental health, especially because it's really big right now. And, when I was young, it was something that people really didn't want to share. So that Lindsey's autism was a perfect excuse for why I was sad or why I was getting the diagnosis, but it actually had nothing to do with Lindsey. So I was diagnosed at kindergarten with a learning difference. I also was diagnosed, my first grand mal seizure was in 4th grade. I was also diagnosed with clinical depression, later on in life, an eating disorder, anxiety disorder, and I think those are about, sorry, just started a new job, so like my brain is a little foggy with the learning difference. But yeah, each one has been a different struggle, but I've had tools, and thankfully I've learned soft belly. I use that one a lot. So.
Yes,
Dr. Farah
I
taught me
South
that
Belly.
one.
I
Yeah.
remember when you guys did a you were like in there was some like a women's conference or something at the Mystical Rose Garden, and you were like a model, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you were like, "Oh, I'm going to use soft belly."
Mhm.
Um, so soft belly, those of you that follow me know that soft belly is a way of doing relaxed breathing that helps us get into our body and helps us to relax. And obviously, these people are, this wonderful family. You are public speakers and you do presentations when we can actually gather in public places together about autism, about mental health, about things like depression, anxiety, all of those things. So I don't know if you use your soft belly then, but you think we should do some now?
Yes.
Shall we? All right. Do you want me to lead it or do one of you want to lead it?
You could lead it.
You lead.
Okay. All right. So unmute yourselves, guys. So we'll just take this opportunity. I always love to talk about breathing. As you know, breathing helps to balance our nervous system and our fight or flight system. And when we are in stress mode and, a body that has differences, I'm going to mute you, Lori. A body that has differences, that is super sensitive, like you live with, Lindsey, and a lot of people that I know live with. A lot of, one of the places that I volunteer in the summer is Camp Avanti. So shout out to Camp Avanti folks, where we work with kids who have high functioning autism and have sensory differences. And their nervous system is on fire, essentially. So at any rate, breathing into your belly and relaxed breathing actually can help calm down the nervous system. I also think that breathing in this way, I know that it helps helps the immune system. So I use every chance I get to remind people of that in this time of COVID, because it's going to be a little while before we get a vaccine. And until we do, we can actually use breathing and taking care of ourselves to help our immune system to fight off this infection and other infections. Okay, so with all that talking, so just settle into your breath. If you wish to let your eyes close, feel free. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, maybe making each out breath a little bit longer. And letting your breath sink into your belly, and just let your belly be soft for the moment. Eyes open is fine too. Maybe looking downwards. Thoughts come, that's normal. Let them come and let them go. And then return to your breathing, to your soft belly breathing. Maybe imagine those words, soft as you breathe in. And belly, belly as you breathe out. As you breathe in this way, you might even feel your shoulders relax a little bit. Breathing in this way tells the alarm system of our brain it can calm down a little bit. It makes us easier to think, easier for us to find our words. And another breath in and out. Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me do that. And so, of course, Lindsey and others, having those sensory differences, it is like the alarm center of your brain. Your amygdala is always on high alert and always looking for danger because it feels so uncomfortable. I'm not able to see any of the Facebook comments. So I don't know if I don't have it set up right, but I definitely see lots of thumbs up and lots of hearts. So this is really great. Lori, I wanted to ask you, or I not even so much ask you, but I just really wanted to comment on, one of the things that I remember over the years with you working with your girls is that it just felt like more than, of course, you wouldn't give up. I don't think, but you always were looking for resources, always looking, because this is, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when these diagnoses were being made, and were new diagnoses, and there wasn't quite as much even help out there. And I just know that I just really felt like you were always searching and bringing things that you could to your family. Do you want to say a little bit about that? Gotcha.
Okay. Yes, thank you, because I do feel like that's exactly what I was doing. I think when somebody said that's not going to work, I was more like, I will prove that it will work. I was willing to try everything. We were really pretty desperate, and the home life was really rough. It's interesting to me, like when our book was published, and here I've been doing these clients here for over 20 years, and they're reading our book and they're saying, I'm just shocked. You came to work with a smile on your face. We had no idea what was happening at your home. And I said, Todd knew at that point that I needed to go back and cut hair a few hours out of the week because I just needed to get out of the house. But we were in survival mode, and it was draining on all of us, the crying and the screaming. And so I think I just was looking for extra help all the time. And I think that's why just anybody that was willing to help us, I listened to everybody. You take what you want and you try it. And if it doesn't work, great. But thanks for giving me the info.
Great. And again, this is the name of the book, Autism, A Family Lives Beyond the Label, the Lindsey Moreland story. And the label doesn't tell the story, of course. So Lindsey, Brittany, either one of you, what would you like to add to the conversation?
Lindsey?
Go first.
Sure, go ahead, Lindsey.
And what would you like me to add on?
Yeah, actually, maybe I can help give you some, you know what, I'm going to give you some prompts, because not only are you talented with your Spanish and that your family wrote a book, but you're also an artist. So the cover of the book, if you can see this, that's your drawing, right?
It is.
So tell us about your art.
Yeah, when I was 13 years old, that's when pencil drawing became my gifted talent. So then I've been drawing my whole entire life. I've been doing some art shows like for 4-H, and my art sometimes is displayed in high school. And during the college years, I decided to do the Wisconsin Regional Art Program. I thought it'd be really fun to display my art in public. I didn't get into state or an honorable mention, but that's okay, because honestly, I don't need awards. What matters to me the most is that my award is my art is being displayed. And 2017, my art became displayed at a local business, at a local winery in Hudson, Wisconsin. And I started my own Facebook page called Lindsey Moreland Pencil Artist. I like to draw things that are mostly like my passions and one of my fascinations. Like, for example, the Titanic. I've been fascinated with the Titanic since I was 11 years old. I've been drawing the ship like almost every day when I was in middle school. And I also like to draw famous people, famous celebrities, my friends and family, animals, and sometimes still life objects, and sometimes Disney characters, because I grew up loving watching Disney movies.
Yes, that's great. So it sounds to me like having something like that, developing a passion, I would imagine, or developing your talent, and I would imagine that that's part of what sustained you during some of those tough years, or maybe still is.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So during those hard, difficult times, I've been drawing to help, just to help relax, help calm me down, and just I kind of relate to Frida Kahlo. She is my inspiration. She was a famous woman who painted her mostly self-portraits, who explains her story, who explains who she was in person. It's kind of how I felt in a way. Like, I mostly draw things that explain who I am in person.
And who was the artist? I didn't catch it.
Frida Kahlo. She was
Oh,
a famous Mexican artist.
oh yes. Very, very wonderful. That's awesome. So Brittany, tell us what you would like to share.
I would like to share what I'm working on right
Please.
now, just with the mental
Yeah.
health. What I want to become more of an advocate for mental health, so I came up with the buddy system, and it's called Be a Buddy, because I feel like everyone needs someone, and when you have that special someone, it really makes a whirlwind of a difference. So it's picking 5 people and going up to them and asking, "Will you be my buddy?" And what that entails is the B stands for believe. So you believe in the person. U is unshaken, and that's don't let the stigma of mental health shake you.
Mm.
D is dare. Dare to be different and dare to be the person to help someone who you see is struggling. The other D is determination. It takes a lot of determination where you're from, where it's really hard struggling, to lift yourself up and be that person. And why? It starts and ends with you. And when someone says, "Well, I don't really think I can be that buddy for you," that's all right. You keep trying, because there's going to be one person who is always going to be there for you. And I've experienced that. And that's why there's the power of 5, because let's say your first friend can't, or your family can't really talk to you. One of those 5 people will be there for you. And in return, you're returning the same favor. And it's just, I believe it takes a village. It can't be done with just one person. And that's why I came up with the buddy system, because it really does take a village to
So
become who you are.
so what you're doing is encouraging people to go up to people, and let me get this all done. I'm going to try to write this in here. So the first
Yep.
B is
Believe. Yep.
believe. Let's see if I can spell that right. I don't know if there's, okay. B is for believe. Okay.
Yep. So that's believe in yourself and in others.
Mm-hmm.
And then U is unshaken. And that's the don't let the stigma of mental health shake you. Go beyond that label.
Beautiful.
D is dare. Dare to be different, and also understand that it's okay to be different too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next D is determination. Determined to look past the mental health and be determined to work on that mental health of what can I do to make myself feel better. And then why? It starts and ends with you and me. Because in life, we're all a team. We all want what's best for each other. And that's why we end with you and me.
That's beautiful. So how are you spreading the word on this buddy system?
So what I am doing is I'm including it in our speeches. And then what I'm also going to be doing is sending it out to schools and kind of making it part. I'm hoping to make it part of a curriculum, or part kind of like how Lindsey had the circle of friends, or SOS. It's another tool
Mm-hmm.
that people with that are struggling, and it doesn't even have to be mental health. It could be someone who's shy or even autism, that they can apply this. Anyone can apply this to their life, and I feel that it's gonna be better for everyone.
Mm-hmm. It's great. It's brilliant. Because, we talk about, in my line of work as a physician, let's say a person gets a cancer diagnosis. We encourage people to kind of have their healing team, or their tribe, or whatever you want to call it, of people, of course, and that can be physicians, but it can be friends that you can call on when you need them. And so why not that for everything, for mental health, for really for life in general, right?
Yeah.
Who is it that you can call on?
Mm-hmm.
But what I really liked about what you said was, you go up to somebody and ask them if they can be your buddy, and if they say no, that's okay. Say a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Because when I was younger, and I would always have the anxiety of asking someone, and I know
Mhm.
that was something that was really struggling, because it's like, well, what if someone can't be that buddy? then it's that understanding of it's okay because it's not meant to be. If they can't be a part of that, that's okay. They can still be your friend. It's just that it's not that they can't be that pack of five. They can still
Okay.
be together, but it's something where they're like, with what the buddy system stands for, I can't be that for you, and that's okay. And then you just continue to find someone that matches those things.
Sure, that's great. And so in a way, it is it's really teaching yourself and learning that it's okay. You know, in a way, we kind of find that we call that almost mindfulness too, where we're not necessarily
Yep.
attached to how that is. So it's really a mindfulness thing. Do you think that would have helped you, Lindsey, when you were in, say, middle school, for example?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, what my goal for here is to help spread awareness of not just elementary school, but for both middle and high school, that both educators and classmates are educated with differences like autism or other special needs, and of course, mental ill health for Brittany. And what I like to share here is what my family and I did was really a story of my life with autism. I thought this too would help educate others. And I also came up with the program called SOS Students Offering Support. My mom also helped with that also. It's a program that helps people be included, because that's really important for everyone, and
It
including
is.
everyone with special needs. Be included, never be excluded. And I thought I would like to share this message too, which is from a former classmate. And she happened to read my book also, and I just really appreciate her kindness, and what makes it more grateful too, because she understands autism. So I thought I would share this message. Hi, Lindsey. I recently read your book. You are truly an amazing lady. There are sections that broke my heart and others that had me fist pumping into the air. Go, Lindsey! I'm so sorry that your time at school was so painful for you and your family. And if I could go back and change things, I would. From the bottom of my heart, I would just like to tell you that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't make more of an effort to include you. I'm sorry that you felt so alone. I'm sorry that you had to experience any of those painful emotions at all. And I'm sorry that I didn't stand up and do more about it at the time. It may be too much to ask for you to forgive me after such a long time, so instead, I'll tell you this. In just few short months, I will officially be qualified speech language pathologist. Yay! And I promise you that I will do everything in my power to make sure that other kids, teens, and adults facing challenges similar to yours feel as included and supported as possible, and as many different environments as possible. While I may not have been the friend you needed in our school years, I hope that I am able to be a friend, supporter, and cheerleader for the kids, teens, and adults that I will have a pleasure working with in the future. Thank you for having the courage to write your family story down for others to read. You're inspiring more people than you know. Even though we may not live close anymore, that I am cheering you on from afar, and I am here for you should you ever need a friend to lean on. Thank you for the bottom of my heart.
Oh my heavens.
And
That
that's also a message that I really hope that teaches others, an important lesson for others to spread awareness, others to be included, as always.
I'm almost speechless. That is so beautiful. And how, you all as a family, bearing your hearts, bearing your soul, bearing your stories, what a difference this makes. And now this um, former classmate is now going to be reaching so many lives. So it's that whole ripple effect. And it is really a model for how we should be living with differences in our world right now. Right?
Absolutely.
Wow. Hmm. Well, Lori, aren't you just proud? Let's see here. Do I got you muted?
There we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am extremely proud of both the girls. It's just amazing what they have done. I think the really neat part of this is when Lindsey wanted to go back to the high school. Here she was out of there, and she could have said it doesn't matter anymore, but she heard of a student that was struggling, and she just said, I do not want another student to struggle the way I did in middle and high school. And that is when she said, what can we do? And we talked about students offering support. And the same thing with Brittany. I mean, Brittany has had so many challenges of her own, and yet she's always thinking about her sister. She's always thinking about other people first, and always including people. Both the girls know what it's like to be excluded and the pain that they have been in because of it. And so, but I always say they are the strongest women that I will ever know. I mean, they're just amazing young ladies of what they're doing. So yeah, of course, I'm a very proud
we
mom.
talked last week when we decided to do this a little bit about what it must be like these days. And yes, you deserve to be a proud mom. And by the way, I think you're right up there with the strong women. Right? You've learned from the best, right? Actually, before I go on what I was going to say, there is even, in your book, like your grandma, I mean, your mother, grandma talks, and yeah, your mom, exactly. Talk about, what it was like and such. What I was going to mention is that one of the things that has really been thinking about is not only what social isolation does, just even not in a pandemic, but now we're in a pandemic. And thinking about, and you had mentioned, Lori, oh my goodness, what would that be like? So any words or even any reflections as you think about those that might be, if you were to go back in time and recreate maybe some of those early years, but during the pandemic. So any words of advice that you can give to people that might be going through that now?
Yeah, that's a great question, because when you were just talking about that, it almost made me feel like it was our pandemic. I mean, we were isolating. We weren't going anywhere. Todd and I were not going on dates. We couldn't leave the girls with a babysitter. We had 1 hour a week of respite care, and that was it. And even during that time, I was always so scared to leave Lindsey. As much as I needed that time away, I also had that fear of leaving her. She was nonverbal. She couldn't tell me if something had gone wrong. I had a hard time trusting other people because she was so severe. So I think during that time, again, we leaned on family. I think about what I am doing in the pandemic now, and what what Todd is doing, and both the girls. I mean, we have each other. We're being very careful. We are having friends come out and sit in our driveway and visit out there, or sit in the screen and porch. Todd's out in the woods. He has the beauty of he enjoys hunting, and so he has that getaway. But I just think for people that have children with autism at this point with the pandemic, I feel for them, because they have a whole nother layer. I know that the little boy that Brittany does respite care for, they weren't able to go to the center. So instead they were doing therapy online. And I can't imagine Lindsey not having therapy in person for months. I mean, I feel like that would have been a huge challenge. So again, if they could maybe have the therapy set up in their home, that the family's able to do it. I know it doesn't give them what they need 100%, but I think that having that equipment at home, that's a lot of things that we did just because we needed Lindsey to have that therapy at home along with at the centers that she was going to. Like with autism, like we made sure that Lindsey had her weighted vest and a big, huge pillow pile, that she was seeking out deep pressure all the time. So I think I've thought about this a lot, and I feel for these families. I can't imagine what they're going through. Autism is so hard to begin with, and then having the pandemic on top of it. I guess I don't know if I have the right answer for that, Kathy, but I think they got to lean on family and friends and socialize outdoors if they can. Have little friend groups, especially like we are involved in an autism support group in St. Croix County. And I know that some of the moms, they go to the support for each other. So they have each other and their kids hang out together. I think as long as they're outside. It's hard though.
And but you know, the very first thing you said about in response to that is that you were already living in isolation.
Very much so.
And that is a really good reminder. A really
Yep.
good reminder. And you know, and all the therapies, and how important that is. So, you know, shout out to all our occupational therapists and speech therapists and physical therapists and any kind of therapists. You know, thank you for now, you know, doing online when you had to, doing in person when you're able. Thank heaven, right?
And that was the thing with Lindsey. I mean, we had therapists coming into our home. She had speech, OT, PT at 3 different locations. She was going to school for early childhood. So we had a constant therapy going for her. And the best advice that I really got was early intervention. And when Lyle Chastain told me, you have no time to waste. These are precious times. And it's so hard because you're going through the grieving process. And yet I guess once I could accept that, you know, I went through mother shaming. I went through being embarrassed of our family. And that was why the isolation is, because I couldn't trust the fact that if we took the girls out in public, that Brittany wasn't going to either have a seizure or that Lindsey wasn't going to have a tantrum. We tried a lot of things to do as a family. I mean, it was a struggle to go to the park. I can laugh about it now, but Lindsey kind of took ownership to a swing. And if there was a child that was, you know, in the playground that beat her to it, it was her swing, and that would have caused a huge tantrum. So we did isolate because of that. So Todd built this huge swing set in our own backyard.
Yeah, you made your adaptations, so to speak.
Yep.
You mentioned that Brittany, you do respite care.
Yes, I love it.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So rewarding. So what happened is we were speaking of our book, and we were going to the Hudson support group, and I saw this family, and the little boy reminded me so much of my sister from where she was, and you know how just even growing in the years, and it's an amazing family, and he's an amazing a little boy. I mean, he's so cute, and right now he's loving Disney, and we're doing like our little speech stuff where we're like, I can see what's happening, and he'll go, what? And they don't have a clue, and then he'll go, whoo. And so it's like just to see from before where he didn't talk as much, and now he is, and he's just so smart with math, and I can just brag about him because he's so amazing. And then I watch another boy who has cerebral palsy, and that family is amazing too. And if I can help the way that we got help as a family, if I can just brighten up their day just a little bit, it just makes my day, and it makes it, you know, it's so rewarding, and it makes me want to do, like, it's like, what can I do more? What can I do to help this family? Because that's what people did for us, and there's no greater feeling than paying it forward. And I just get the joy, like, you know, because there are days that are really hard, but that makes those days that are amazing, like, one step forward, two steps back, and then that one step forward, that gives you that drive to keep going. And it's so rewarding because you know how hard it is for them. And to see, it's like I just lost for words because I'm just so proud of, you know, all the kids that I work with. They're so positive at life. And that's like the coolest thing, is that they don't let that have them having a bad day. They're like, the next day they're just like, yep, this is good, we're gonna keep on moving. And they do, they exceed so much, and I'm just so proud of them and proud of their families. And I'm happy I get to be a part of that experience for them, and a part of hoping to make their day a better day.
Well, how lucky are they? Really, to have you with all your positivity and your experience. And by the way, I don't know, I was looking at your guys' Facebook thing, and I saw you, speaking of a talented family. And of course, I know you, Laura, you've got a musical family, and I saw you playing the drums with, who was it that was playing the accordion?
My dad.
Oh, It just like warmed my heart. I'm gonna go back and listen to it because I grew up with polka music. Oh my God, it's so great.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
That's helped a lot
so
with the pandemic, with
tell me
being
about
able to play. Well,
Okay.
just being able, like, because for me, I need to dance, and music is a really big thing that calms me. So
Yes.
I have like downstairs my like piano, my drum, my bass, my accordion, and I can just, whenever I'm feeling stressed out, just play one of those instruments, and then I just start to feel calm.
That's great. Yeah, music, playing instruments. And we talked about soft belly. What helps you, Lindsey, if you're having a rough day?
Yes, like I mentioned before, drawing, art, painting. I like to listen to my own type of music.
Oops, great. And how about you, Lori?
I enjoy going for walks. I love dancing. Of course, we don't do that anymore unless we're out in the driveway being goofy, Brittany and I. But no, I am thrilled when my dad comes over and plays the accordion, and my brothers to hear their band. And of course, it's been different with the pandemic. But yeah, I love music. The family, it's great.
That's wonderful. Well, folks, we are coming up on, we're getting there. Yeah. So I want to keep this to about an hour, but my goal was to inspire people. And if people haven't been inspired by you amazing trio, and I'm sure Todd would have a lot to add as well, then they haven't been listening, or have been on mute the whole time. Which has been happening. But this has just been so amazing. So if people wanted to get your book, either one of your books, Autism, Family Behind the Label, the Lindsey Moreland story, or Little Lindsey Gets a Haircut, how would they do that? How would people get the books?
Girls, run it. So you go on our website, so autismlm.com.
And I made a little thing, but I can't find it now, so I'll have to do it all over, I guess. autismlm.com.
Yeah.
Or Lindsey Moreland Pencil Artist for Lindsey's Art. So I highly recommend these books. They are just really fascinating and really enjoyable, actually, and heartwarming. And you all are so honest in your book, and I think it's really. I think you all are fulfilling your mission, and I'm just really proud to know you, and can't wait to share this video with other people that weren't able to attend tonight, so you can, you yourself can share it as well. And so I'm going to continue to do these because I feel like I've been given a lot in my life. So next week, same time, I'm going to be interviewing my good friend Susan Blum, who is a physician in New York, and she's an expert in the immune system. And she's going to be talking about how to improve your immune system in natural ways, and what better time to do that. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep doing these. So, and if you want, kathyfarahmd.com is my website for the folks that are listening. And I just really. If we're downstairs, you could play some music for us, Lindsey. I'm out, but I'm not playing any music. So I just, really want to thank each of you, and maybe we'll do this again.
Thank you, Kathy.
Any of you have anything last words you'd like to say?
Lindsey, Brittany, how about you guys?
I just say thank you, Kathy, again for just everything, not only helping us with this journey, but also to just letting us being able to spread the message of hope. And just thank you to everyone on Facebook. And I just hope tonight we could give you a message of hope and to never give up, and just to keep remembering it's one day at a time.
Great.
Yes, I just want to say thank you so much, Kathy, for inviting us three for our Facebook Live interview. And thank you to those who have watched us hear our interview. I really hope this makes a difference and helps spread awareness. So, again, en español, muchísimas gracias por escuchar nuestro discurso sobre autismo e intimidación. Muchísimas gracias.
Great.
See.
Great.
Kathy, can I say one thing?
Sure, of course.
I just want to make sure that families understand. I know there's thousands of families out there that have done just as much as us and maybe more different things. And I realize they don't always have the outcome that we have had. But I really want to let those people know to never give up and keep on searching for help. And we are very aware of our fortunate story.
Great. Thank you. That's a really good point. And hopefully soon you will be able to do some more of your speaking in public and in person, so that
Right.
you go to the same website to engage these folks as well. So many,
Right.
many thanks. Muchas gracias. That's right. Right. Many thanks. Yeah. And everyone have an amazing night. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.